Hey, folks, it's another As Goes Israel, So Goes the World with none other than the legendary AVI Lipkin. How you doing, Avi?
I'm very, very happy and very, very happy to see you.
I'm happy to see you. And legendary, not only because of the incredible work you've done through the years for Israel and in America, but you also defy the very stones that fall on your feet.
Yes, indeed. I'm a very, very high level diplomat. And we received a ton of logs for the fireplace. And so I was on a ladder, trying to put a very big, heavy stone to block the logs from rolling over. And anyway, that big stone fell smack on my foot on the ladder.
Woo.
And it was really painful. I said, oh, it's nothing. And so 2 or 3 days I was okay. And then the third night I woke up with terrible, excruciating pain.
Oh.
I went to the hospital. I mean, I can take my my camera and show you how red my left foot is, but I couldn't get up, I couldn't walk, I couldn't do anything. It's getting better now with the antibiotic. It'll be at least a week before the red color in my foot is gone. But
wow.
it was a real smack. So it just shows you. So I'm such a high level diplomat, that
yes,
I have to go fix the logs in my garden and getting ready for the Israeli winter,
Well, you know what? He gave us charge over you to his angels, lest you dash your foot on a stone.
Yeah.
I pray for a speedy recovery.
Now you're going to tell me that God was playing footsies with me.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right, man. Well, hey, it is a hot show today. Tell me what's happening right there from the desert in Texas to the desert in Israel. What's happening, brother?
Okay. Well, firstly, you have this war going on between Russia and Ukraine.
Right.
And you know that Iran is a proxy for the Russians. And Iran is now in tremendous turmoil with these very bread or water or gasoline, a high cost of living. The young people, even high school students, are in the streets, taking off their hijabs, their head coverings. The girls,
right?
They are
high school girls, especially.
Lives. They are fighting for their lives. But anyway, that's not the point of the radio show. But all I'm saying is that many people have been waiting for Israel to attack Iran because of the nuclear program, which forgive me for saying it, but the U.S. president is basically dancing around the nuclear problem. And Israel is not a big country. This is not Texas. This is a country which with 3, 4, 5 nuclear bombs, the country is pretty much erased. And so Israel is like, we are waiting for something to happen in Iran, unless with God's help, these Iranian students can overthrow the regime and basically neutralize the insanity of the Iranian government, which wants to wipe Israel off the face of the earth. And by the way, they want to erase the United States also, which is even crazier.
Isn't that why John Kerry helps them keep their billions that Obama sent in the middle of the night and tell them how to bypass the UN inspectors? Isn't that why?
$150 billion Obama sent them. Mm-hmm. And all this money went straight, not to the people, it went to the terrorism.
Of your money, folks, project. And your children's money.
Mm-hmm. So I still have not yet gotten to why I'm on the show tonight. So we spoke about Russia.
Right.
We spoke about Iran. And now Iran has a proxy in Lebanon by the name of Hezbollah.
Right.
And Hezbollah, they're like high school students or junior high school students who have all these firecrackers.
And, billions of dollars worth.
Kids in junior high, I mean, you got firecrackers, you're going to just watch them. You're going to go take them out and shoot them off. They've got 200,000 rockets. And a lot of the fighting that's been going on now between the Israeli Air Force and targets in Syria have been these capabilities that Iran is giving Hezbollah for absolute precision bombing, which can be put onto these missiles. In other words, they can hit any target at a distance of 10 yards. That's bullseye. So, so we're sitting there looking at Iran, looking at Russia, because Russia backs them.
Right.
We are looking at Hezbollah with 200,000 rockets.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, Lebanon is a basket case. Lebanon in the 50s and 60s until 1970, Lebanon was the Switzerland of the Middle East. Lebanon was a wonderful, beautiful country.
Beautiful, very westernized. Most people don't know that.
It was the only Christian Arabic-speaking country in the world.
Right.
Well, not anymore. I mean, the Christians ran away, and then the Muslims out populated them. And the people who control 40% of the population, they are Hezbollah and Shiites, backed by Iran.
Right.
So what does Iran want? Iran wants to fight Israel to the last drop of Shiite blood of Lebanon.
Right.
In other words, Iran would be extremely happy if Israel went into a bloody war with Lebanon,
of course,
to keep attention away from Iran. So anyway, so what happens? People are literally starving in Lebanon. There was a boat with, I think, 30, 40 refugees fleeing from Lebanon to get to Cyprus. And the motor broke down, the ship sank. And I think they saved a few people. But I mean, it's crazy. People are fighting, like people are fighting to get out of Russia. They're fighting to get out of Iran. They're fighting to get out of Lebanon because these are satanic countries. The people are not satanic, but the governments are.
And so Russia is said to have reinitiated a draft of sorts as well.
Completely crazy. They're sending young kids. They're sending old men. They're sending people who have never, ever fired a gun. And they call them cannon fodder. These people are cannon fodder. They don't know how to fight. And you know what? There are now open telephone lines to the Ukrainian forces on how to surrender and not get killed, because these people will all be slaughtered if they, dare to pick up a rifle or a cannon, against Ukraine. And Ukraine is saying to them, we will help you to get out of the Russian military. And then we will send, and what they do, they send them to Europe. But these guys get their lives saved because Putin will kill every last one of his own soldiers for his own crazy.
Right. And then here we are in Obama's third term, with Dementia Joe, Basement Joe, the proxy in the White House. And these are the same people who have the scorched earth policy. Build back better really means build back after you've destroyed the country. Yeah. And that's a globalist agenda, folks. It's no longer a conspiracy theory. It's got to be very concerning for people on the street. But then again, Israel is a warrior state. They're used to being under alert. They're used to hundreds of rockets being fired over the border, and yet they're the villain when they retaliate. And Hezbollah using American money given to Iran, hiding behind women and children and in hospitals and schools. And of course, unfortunately, the mainstream media very happy to play along, and to victimize the casualties, which are casualties, unfortunately. I'll never forget a meme that we've talked about before in shows past, Avi. There's the Hezbollah soldier hiding behind a baby carriage and the Israeli soldier in front of the baby carriage trying to protect. And yet, no country is as careful about precision strikes as Israel. No country has the consideration in regards to striking targets and trying to avoid casualties among civilians than the land of Israel, folks. Did you know that? So what is the word on the street in Israel right now with all this? What's the mood now?
Okay, now we are getting to the real reason for this show. Until now, it was all propaganda. Now I'm getting to the real reason. The Lebanese economy is at zero, or maybe the Lebanese economy is at minus.
Right.
And there's no food, there's no gasoline. The Iranians have been sending over ships with oil, because even the hospitals don't have, electricity.
Right.
Anyway, so that Israel is now pumping gas from underneath the Mediterranean Sea,
right.
From two different sites. Now we're going to be pumping from a third site very soon.
Wow.
And it turns out there's a fourth site just to the north, which is actually, most of it is under Lebanese control. I mean, a Lebanese border. And so Hezbollah immediately said, we want a part of Israel's gas or we blow it all up. And so So, so the Americans, you know, bless their hearts, say, okay, listen, let's work together and get the gas pumped out of the reservoir, which is under the Lebanese territorial area. And okay, everything is fine. And Hochstein, who is this American interceder, you know, negotiator, is going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, comes up with this document, which gets the Israeli leadership, the present Israeli leadership, into a lot of trouble, because it looks like, you know, they gave up everything in order to sign this document and have a peaceful solution to the problem with the Lebanese. I mean, this could have been the beginning of diplomatic relations with Lebanon at the end of war. The problem is Hezbollah does not want peace.
No,
and
of course
Hezbollah
not.
will kill anybody in Lebanon who tries to make peace with Israel or to cooperate with Israel in getting the gas out from under the Mediterranean. And that gas could literally save the Lebanese people and the Lebanese economy and the Lebanese government. And, you know, the 60% of the population, which is not Shia, they just want to, you know, live. You've
Live their
got
lives,
Christians,
work their jobs, raise their families.
you've got Christians there, you've got Druze, you've got Sunni Muslims. I mean, they don't like what Hezbollah is doing, but Hezbollah has all this armament from Iran threatening them. And so anyway, so the agreement, you know, was brought over by the U.S. negotiator to the Lebanese and the Israelis. The Israelis signed it, and then the Lebanese, when they saw the Israelis sign it, said, wait a second, we have a few things we want to add. And those few things are totally unacceptable to Israel.
Sounds like pork belly politics in America, doesn't it?
And so anyway, so what's the problem now? So because of those new added things to the agreement, if the Israelis don't sign, Hezbollah said, guess what? We're going to have a war.
And all of a sudden, Israel doesn't want peace. Well, of course they do. Of course they do.
So it's really something. I mean, Netanyahu today is in the opposition. And he's been attacking Lapid, who's the prime minister of Israel.
Right.
And, you know, Lapid, you know, just trying to make peace with the Lebanese and sign some kind of a peace agreement. And Hezbollah basically put him in a situation where he's with Netanyahu now. And they don't agree to it anymore, because we are giving up, you know, our security, and we're giving up, our rights to the gas there. Because part of that big lake of gas under the Mediterranean is really Israeli. And you know, and the French energy company Total said that they would pay Israel, you know, part of the proceeds from the oil, from the gas on the Lebanese side. And what do the Lebanese say? We're not going to give the Israelis a penny.
Even though Lebanon owes so much of its resources and survival to Israel, you know, it's a selective memory, isn't it?
It's crazy. You know, I don't want to start quoting the Bible, because it may be that there's some good people watching your show now who are not Bible believers. They should be.
That's okay.
They might not be.
A lot of non-religious people watch my show.
And
your show.
So I just want to say Genesis 12 verse 3 says, I will bless those who bless you and curse those who curse you.
It's a promise.
And the problem is that there's some people in Lebanon who are adamant about cursing Israel. They're going to bring God's curse on Lebanon. It hurts me to say it, because, hey, you know, we love Lebanon. We love the Lebanese people.
Right.
We are ready to work with them and completely float their economy with this gas. I mean, Israel is one of the reasons for Israel's great prosperity is because our government has learned how to, you know, utilize the gas of the Mediterranean. You know, by the way, a little thing just to keep in the back of your mind. The plan is to build a pipeline. They're building it now from the Israeli gas fields to the Cyprus gas fields, which is not far away. And because Cyprus, Lebanon, Israel are a triangle. And then from there to Greece, and from Greece to Italy. And this is urgent for Europe, excuse me, because the Europeans need the gas before the winter really sets in. And it looks like the pipeline is on target to reach Greece and to reach Italy And so this gas from Lebanon could also help the Europeans with their problem with Russia. But guess what? Russia doesn't want it. And so Russia probably is also telling Iran to tell Hezbollah to sabotage the American-backed deal to get the gas out from under the Mediterranean Sea. So that was the purpose of me being on this show today, because I don't know if they talk about this at all on the American
Oh,
TV.
of course not. Of course not. It's about, the celebrity, the latest celebrity scandal. It's about everything but the truth these days. And
Yeah.
that's why we're doing this show, Avi, boots on the ground, word on the street. Yeah, as goes Israel, so goes the world. Folks, you need to know this. That's why I thought, I'm going to start including you, my friends, on Facebook Live and other platforms as well, to get the word, the fresh word, what's really going on, and of course, nobody owns us. We're not bought and paid for, and we're not pushing this agenda, so all that to say is we just want to bring you the truth of what's happening. It pays to know the truth. Of course, we're commanded to pray for the peace of Israel. You need to know what's going on in Israel because it affects you, whether you realize it or not. It's going to affect you, and it's also important to understand, what side you choose to stand on, and just the shameful collaboration of the left that has infiltrated our leadership with these terror organizations, and birds of a feather flock together, So with all that said, when it comes to encountering people in the beautiful marketplaces there in Israel, are they just doing their best just to go on with everyday life? Do they care? Are they distracted? Are they as distracted as Americans are when it comes to world events?
I think that the Israeli population is distracted. I think that the Israeli people say, listen, we got our kids in the army, boys and girls. They are doing what they know what they have to do. Right. The commanders know what they're doing. The Ministry of Defense knows what they're doing. So we're just going to continue working, making a living, and going to restaurants and going to movies and going shopping. And life is wonderful in Israel, in spite of these Satans and these, devils who are just trying to kill us and destroy everything. Right. Because it is about their, I don't want to say their religion, because in my opinion, what they have is not a religion. What I think they have is a criminal psychosis bent on the destruction of Israel, bent on the destruction of the entire human race.
Right.
But hey, anything new? We've been facing this over 100 years now in the land of Israel.
And technically for thousands of years, Yeah. During even the days of Gideon against the Midianites, who were known for their golden crescents around their camels' necks, folks. This is an age-old problem. It's been going on for thousands of years, but here we are. The Bible is true, and of course, the founder of the Bible Block Party, none other than AVI Lipkin. Avi, we're doing well on time right now, but what can people do? What can the average American do? What can the average Israeli do during times like this?
Well, there are a number of websites. The only problem is once you get linked up with the websites, they kind of repeat themselves.
Right.
But people have to be informed. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
Right.
And people, I think you have my internet address there, my email address there. Mm-hmm. This will be a test to see who's watching your show. If anyone wants me to connect them up with emails, I've got this wonderful lady in near Houston, and I send her every day. I think she wants to kill me already because I send her all these tons. She asked me, so I'm sending her all these tons of emails and news type things, which you simply are not getting in the United States.
Right.
And so if anyone really watching this show wants to know what's really going on, they should write to me, vicmore2001@yahoo.com. And if people want to make contributions to me and to my work with the party, don't forget our elections are about 3 weeks away. We're almost at the elections already.
Right.
By the way, we are now submitting. We should have submitted yesterday, except for this rock incident that fell on my foot. So I spoke to the Knesset. They're giving me some time to get over it. But we have to submit all our TV commercials for the elections. So we're going to do this on Sunday morning, probably. So we are there. We are ready for the elections. I have to tell you, there was a party called Rafa, Rafa like Raphael,
Right.
healing. And they got 17,000 votes in the last elections, but they're not running this time. In other
Really?
words, the whole thing about the anti-vaxxers, that was a one-issue party, and that party is over. So we are hoping, a lot of people said they wouldn't vote for us because they're going to vote for the anti-vaxxer party. So I'm hoping this time that they will wake up and come home and vote for us. I'm working very hard now, believe it or not, in Russian. I am connecting with Facebook friends who are Russian speakers and who live in Israel, believers. And hopefully we will increase also by a few hundred or a few thousand votes. I've got Arabic speakers. I've got Ethiopians who speak Amharic. This is a crazy country. It's a small country, but you got to do your campaign in 5 languages.
A lot of people don't realize that. It's not just Israelis there, not just Jews there, Arabs, Christians, of course, Muslims and Jews and Messianics and agnostics. You got the whole mix right there in Israel, folks. Who would have thought that the entire world would revolve around the happenings of that area? Actually, technically, it's much, much bigger. The land that was promised to Abraham, from father. But all that to say is, Avi, the Bible is true, and Israel is the apple of God's eye, and he loves his people. We should always be praying for the peace of Jerusalem. And so if you look at that email at the bottom of your screen, make contact with Avi. He can connect you with some real news sources in addition to this one. That's why we're doing what we're doing, folks. We're not just trying to get kicked off Facebook. We just want to tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And you're not going to find it on Google. You're not going to find it on mainstream media. You won't usually find it on Facebook or YouTube, but we're doing what we can with the breath we have in our lungs. And so with our final several minutes there, Avi, people can email you to connect for true news sources. They can connect with you to also give to your campaign. In America here, I believe it's with Chase Bank. Is that correct?
Yes, and you have Chase Bank in the Odessa area, all over Texas. You've got Chase banks,
right?
And if so, people should write to me. I'll give them the account. Is the account number on the screen?
If you want it on the screen, it'll be on the screen.
Okay, I think you have it.
I do.
But it doesn't matter. If people write to me, I'll give them the account number, and then they can make a deposit directly under my name. And just my only request is when they make the deposit, it should be a check, not cash.
Right.
And cash is not accepted in the bank. They want a check. And to let me know by internet, if so, how much they've deposited for my bookkeeping.
Right. Perfect.
Okay. And
what you're supporting is the Bible Block Party, folks. For those who are watching this for the first time or seeing our live stream for the first time, what would you tell them about the Bible Block Party?
Well, we need another show for that. But in one sentence, I will say one thing. Israel is going now into a very, very new phase of its existence. I think we're going to be seeing a tremendous amount of immigration, and not only from Russia and Ukraine, from the United States as well. There are more and more Americans moving to Israel now. So Israel's population is going to grow. Israel's economy is going to grow. If people believe in God and believe in the Messiah, Israel is the land of God and the Messiah, and we are working together, Jews and Christians, to realize an alliance that will, defend the state of Israel, the Jewish people and the Christians, against all adversaries. And this is the first time in history that Jews and Christians are totally aligned, totally in alliance and supporting each other.
Wow.
And I think it's a revolution.
That's a big thing. That's a big thing. That's very significant. Wow. Of course, Avi, you've spoke to people in America too, and you believe that unless there's a radical change in our country, that there could be another Holocaust towards the Jews in America. The average Midwest, though, doesn't feel that way. Jews are not even part of the conversation in the Midwest in terms of negativity. But it is interesting to understand that the factions, the far right, and then of course the left, has dark plans for Christians, Jewish people, conservatives, straight people, family people, working people, you name it. They hate everybody, even themselves and each other, but they are united. So what's important, folks, that you get united. It's our friend Brigitte Gabriel's from Lebanon. She was there when it was prosperous and beautiful, and some would say westernized and Christian. But sure enough, radical Islam came in, and she thought she was going to be killed. Spent 7 years in a bunker. Was told to walk towards Israel because they won't kill you. It's interesting. It's interesting the compassion that Israeli soldiers have. You don't hear about that, folks. You don't hear about that. You've got the 50 cameras on that one person posing, as a victim, and there are casualties. Don't get me wrong, but what you've been presented is not the truth. Avi, here in America, more and more people are realizing they can't believe anything. They can't believe their political leaders. They can't believe either party. One party seems to stand more for conservative values, but at the end of the day, there's no faith in political leaders or the media or even authority. And that's a dangerous time. But folks, we need to gather with like-minded people, support people like Avi, pray for the peace of Israel, and stop spending your money. People who hate you. Doesn't make any sense. It amazes me, Avi, the people who like collecting millions and billions of dollars, but they hate capitalism. No, they don't. They just hate for you to not be a consumer slave. And so with all that said, folks, put your money where your mouth is, support GLC. You say you want people to know the truth. You say you do, show you do, please. I'm a volunteer. I don't want your money. I don't need your money. Avi doesn't take your money, but GLC loves you, Avi. America loves you. So as we wind down, my friend, what would you encourage all believers, Jews and Christians, and people who just love their families and love the idea of peace? What would you tell them to do right now?
Our redemption draws nigh, but people should stick to the faith because it's all about the Christian heritage of America.
Right. Those black robe preachers who preach those sermons long before the Constitution was written. Oh, the Constitution isn't based in the Bible. Oh, don't be a fool. Don't be a fool. Don't believe those who lie to you. On the contrary, Constitution can merely just be sermon notes from the Black Robe Regiment, those outlaw preachers who preach no king but Christ to King George. Put a hit out on King George, one of them dead, folks. Wake up, snap out of this lull, pull away from that phone that you're cyborg to. I have to do it too. And go to a library, read some history books. You can't believe this Marxist nonsense being taught to our children. In our schools, and you definitely can't believe the media. They just want to tell you what sells, But all that to say is go to the source of truth, and that you look up, your redemption is nigh. You better understand the Bible is true. Forget all the religion you ever knew. Know that the Bible is true, and the God of the Bible is true, and the God of Israel is true. He loves Israel. He loves you, Avi. I love you. GLC loves you. America loves you. And I can't wait till next time on As Goes Israel, So Goes the World. Shalom, my friend.
Shalom, y'all.